Yo, what's up, Alex? How you doing? I am excited to read through a few more books or a few more issues of Sandman today. I think I'm gonna shoot for three, so we'll see how it goes. I'll play it by ear, so long as I don't get like too tired while talking. I guess I've always noticed that when I'm doing readings, I do get tired a lot faster, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, how have you been, by the way? Hopefully, you had a good weekend. Obviously, we did have a podcast session on Saturday, so there was that. Um, but yeah, I am excited to jump into this. Hey, Shannon, how you doing? Hope you're also doing well. It's been a few days. But yeah, I'm excited to jump into this reading. This is when is Dirtman gonna show up? Dirtman? Is he the opposite of Sandman? I guess he is his inverse. He is like the his dark reflection. I did see Black Panther. I did. I saw it on Saturday. Oh, I didn't do a review. I forgot. I didn't. I didn't make a review for the movie. I should do that. I forgot. I completely forgot about that. Um, Water Woman also works as an inverse for Sandman, I guess, because at least the version of him in Marvel does get evaporated in water. Um, but who would win, Water Woman or Dirt Man? That's the real question. I mean, that's what we're all dying to know. Yeah, I forgot to review this. I didn't realize that until you mentioned it. So now I'm like, I need to figure out what to do there. I mean, I could do something right now, I guess, but let me think about it. So, overall, I think it's the best film that Marvel has put out since Endgame. Like, I think there's nothing. The only movie that comes close to it would be the Spider Man No Way Home film. Or, yeah, No Way Home was the third one. And I will say that I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think Namor's introduction, I think their handling of T'Challa's passing, I think their passing of the mantle, like everything that they did, I think was done very, very well. I think it's the best story that has come out in recent years from the MCU. The No Way Home film definitely comes in close, but I think that it also relies a lot on the nostalgia and hype around the multiverse and the other Spider-Man. I think that this one ultimately might have a stronger story. It's more, perhaps more thought provoking, but again, I'm not certain since it's been what, 11 months since I saw that last film, right? So, or since I saw that film last. And so I'm not 100% sure, but I do think that it is like a level 9 in terms of quality at least. And I have very few potential criticisms. I think that the biggest thing that I noticed was the CGI for the suits was really weird for some of them, like specifically the Ironheart suit and like those weird upgraded like suits for the Wakandans. I don't really know what those were called. They had a name for that, but I don't recall specifically what it was called. Regardless, like that CGI definitely looked odd, but I think that in general, the CGI issue is something that I've had since Infinity War, and I love Infinity War as a movie. I think it is one of the best, probably my favorite of all the MCU films, and I think it's objectively just one of the best. Um, yeah, I agree. You say Spider Man's good for fan service. Wakanda Forever is good because it's well written. Yeah, I agree. Funnily enough, I was watching, what is it called? The John Campea show, because I like watching their reviews and talks about films and things like that because they talk about that stuff a lot. They just have like a pretty solid show. And they didn't love it as much as I did, which was interesting. I think predominantly like I didn't go in there having any expectations, right? And I think that's kind of a product of phase 4 where I'm like I just can't have expectations because clearly they're not being met. So, I mean, that also helped a lot. And I just went in to see this film because I wanted it to be a good, like, a good memory or a good experience given the passing of Chadwick. So I was really rooting that for the film to be well done, but I also wasn't sitting there looking for things to complain about. And I think the CGI was the only thing that bothered me, which that's just an issue that I've had with Marvel in general ever since things have looked less and less real. Um, and I think that's just a byproduct of them trying to do too much all the time. And that's just unfortunately something I doubt is going to change because they're very clearly just trying to produce as much as they can to keep you occupied and potentially not as much thinking about simply just producing quality. I'm very glad that Wakanda Forever was not a byproduct of that. I think that they put a lot of time intentionally on this film, so I'm very glad with it. I've really enjoyed it. I think the movie going experience was fantastic. So all around fantastic. I think the introduction of Atlantis, or actually, it's not Atlantis. I forget what they called it. I think it's renamed by an actual Aztec city. I don't recall the actual name off the top of my head, but great film. Yeah, they definitely shouldn't do that. I mean, to be honest, I think that we are in the age where we're never going to see the level of CGI from Iron Man ever again. Because those suits looked real, they felt real, they seemed like they had weight. I mean, and also if you go back to like Toby's suit from the first or the Toby's fights from the first Spider-Man movie that he was in, the weight behind those punches in that final fight, like things like that, we're not going to see those ever again because either studios are too lazy or they just don't want to put in the effort to do those things. And much to their credit, they realize that most people are too lazy to care about those types of things. So it just bothers me. Yeah, those suits were fantastic. I like how you said loots by accident. But yeah, those fights had weight, and you just don't have that anymore. Like you don't have that anymore because it looks like someone painted over a painting in the background. It's really shit looking. And I don't understand how people don't complain about this more often because it doesn't look good. When your entire background is very clearly CGI, it just like there were moments there was like one or two moments where Shuri was just standing there with the suit below her neck, and you're like, you're just a head. You're a floating head. What's behind you is CGI. What's in front of like your suit is CGI. Like you are a floating head, and I can tell. And I've been able to tell that very easily ever since Infinity War. Like it has been blatantly obvious to me. So I don't know if they're ever going to fix it. I don't think that they actually care to fix it, but it looks so when they're in full CGI, like full suits and the CGI background, it looks unrealistic as hell. And yeah, it's something that bothers me. I feel like not many people notice it for whatever reason, but that has always bothered me. Like the final two films with Iron Man, anytime he has his suit off or his head out, right? Even obviously the Hulkbuster suit, like the Hulkbuster suit was laughable in that Infinity War film. It was pretty bad, but I just don't think that they have the interest to make things look right anymore. And I think that's partially because they try to make things look too shiny. Like the metal now looks much shinier in some time, a lot of the time when compared to the metal from Iron Man. Again, like Iron Man just looked like he had painted metal on him, right? It wasn't overly shiny, but it looked metallic still, right? You had some metallic looks to it, but the Hulkbuster, like even Iron Man 3, like that looked good to me from what I remember. I haven't watched that film in a long time, but Yeah, the CGI nowadays is just atrocious. And I think it's specifically atrocious when you're creating a very unrealistic sky and then plastering people on it, or you're creating a very unrealistic city and you're plastering people over it, and then on top of that, you are not even allowing them to wear an actual practical suit, right? You don't have to have whoever the actor is there all day. You could have a stand-in there. It doesn't matter, but have a physical suit there so that it looks realistic, because it just looks like a painting, and it's not good. It's not good. But back to the actual film, right? The film, the story, the plot, the emotional tones, everything about it, I think was pretty good. I do kind of wish we got a little bit more of Killmonger in the film. And I do like I like that he was in the film. I wish we got a bit more. And then I also feel the same way about like Val and I forget what the agent's name is. Uh, I know he's Watson from Sherlock, but I don't recall his specific character name in the film. But those two, like, they probably could have been in it a little bit more, just because, like, comparatively to the first one, I think he was present a bit more than this one. I don't think it was a huge issue though, because I think that they probably were focusing a bit more on the elements of just, trying to respect the passing of their lead, as well as trying to move something forward and do what was next, right? And I think that they did a phenomenal job, right? Not a perfect film, but it is pretty close. It is pretty close. Um, but yeah, apart from that, I mean, I'm excited to see Namor again. I hope his wings grow back. Like I really do, because it'd be kind of sad if his mutant feature, his most noticeable mutant feature, was now gone forever. That would be really funny, especially as like him being the first mutant. Um, yeah, we don't really know. I think it's just left ambiguous. You would think so, because they don't find out about Namor and Te- Tech Tekotan, or I forget. I'm butchering what it was called. I don't recall exactly what it was, but I believe it's named after an actual Aztec city. I would have to look it up again because I just don't remember. But yeah, the American plotline was kind of weak. Also, Riri Williams' plot was also definitely a bit weaker, but I think that the important parts, which was Shuri's story, the family elements, the Wakandan elements, that was all top tier. I think that they did a great job with that. It's just they didn't focus enough, like they didn't have enough time, I guess, to put into Riri and the agents, like the American stuff, right? So I think that's okay, because that's probably the only thing that like bumps it down from like a 10 to a 9 in my eyes, but everything that they focused on was fantastic. So yeah. And now that I remember, or now that you reminded me, I will try to put out a video at some point. We'll see what happens. All right, let's get into the Sandman. So we are on issue 12 today. Just for your reference, this is what that chapter looks like. It's very creepy looking. It's like a flaming eyeball, or an eyeball surrounded by like, oh, it's not really flames, but it looks really grim and scary looking. I do wonder if these are just photographs. They look like they're just photographs of some kind. Anyway, let's get into it. All right. Lita is rudely pulled from her reverie by the alarm, which echoes and clangs through the dream dome. She tries to remember what she was thinking about, and failing, resolves to go and talk to her husband. He'll know. Hector knows everything. Around her, the alarm system whoops and shrills. Another emergency. Hector seems to work so much these days, and they no longer make love. She can't blame him, of course. She wouldn't welcome his advances if he made them, not in her delicate condition. Still, when the child is born, things will be different, won't they? Mummy and Daddy and Baby makes three. Oh, she must remember to ask Hector about that. It's a 10 alarm nightmare, and it's heading our way. You know what? Okay. It's a 10 alarm nightmare, and it's heading our way. Better batten down Better batten down the hatches. Team this is going to be a doozy. That's a strange word choice there. Brute, glob. Either of you guys seen anything like this before? Sure. Yeah. We know what that is. Mr. Sanford, the foist Sandman. He had a battle with this guy once. It's called, the Nightmare Monster. It's a terrible creature from the, Under ID. One of your hereditary foes. Then I'll have to show it what the new Sandman is made of. Isn't that right, honey? Hector? I'm sorry, Hector. I was thinking about something. I'm sorry. Listen, you two. That thing'll be here soon. So get me any files on it that we have. Heck, we were due to take little Jed to the circus in the stars tonight. If it takes more than a couple hours to thrash this critter, we'll have to put that off until tomorrow night. Okay, boss. Got it. Come on, come on, Miss Sandman. I'll walk you back to our headquarters. Hector, you won't be in danger, will you? Honey, you're talking to the man who rescued the Tooth Fairy from the Jovian fishmen, who stopped the big bad wolf from huffing down Kai Chrysler. Oh, the Chrysler Building. I was like, what is that? Okay. I was like, Chrysler? Okay. The Chrysler Building. Nobody ever beats the Sandman. Everything is going to be just fine. Darling, how long have you been living in the Dream Dome? Couple of years by now. Why, hun? Well, it just seems to me like maybe I ought to have had the baby by now. I was about 6 months pregnant when we got here. You know, you could have something there, baby cake. Wait, you could have something there, baby cakes. You know, precious. I'll bet that the stork doesn't know how to get to the Dream Dome. He's probably got our little bundle of joy in its white cotton diaper right now. Oh. I'll tell Brute and Glob about it. They'll know how to get the message to old Stork. You'll see. I'll talk to them right after I've beaten the Nightmare Monster. Be careful. Lita lived. Everything is going to be fine. Lita lives in a pretty big house with her servants. Their 2 servants and 1,000 screens. Alrighty then. Playing house. She has all the dresses she can wear, and a husband who has a very important job. Hector is the Sandman, with his 2 assistants, Brute and Glob. He gives all the children in the world wonderful dreams. All the children. The only child Lita has actually met in the dreaming world was called Jed. Jed comes to visit them all the time. Nobody else. In her dream house, in her pretty dresses, Lita doesn't think about anything much anymore, but sometimes she almost wonders why. Now you'll listen up, you little animal, and you'll listen good now. Next week, someone's going to be coming from the welfare department to see how you're doing. See if they're getting their money's worth out of you. So, We're going to clean you up and bring you up out of the cellar. And you're going to show her your Barnaby Jr.'s room and make out it's yours. And tell her how well we feed you. And none of your living or carrying on. Wait, what? And none of your living or lying. I'm blind. None of your lying or carrying on, boy. Feel this, huh? Do ya? Oof. Well, if you say anything to this welfare snooper about the cellar, or anything goes on in this house, and I'm gonna wire your hands to the pipes down there and proceed to break every bone in your body, one by one by one. Now get. Clarice and Barnaby received $800 a month from the state for Jed. 3 years ago, he ran away. Since then, he's been locked in the basement. Barnaby and Clarice see it as protecting their investment. They know it's important to keep Jed safe. They just couldn't tell you why. What's keeping this dumb nightmare monster, huh? Brute old pal? Dunno. It is him. Isn't it, Lord Shut up, Scab Brain. His name could give him immediate entry here. Sorry, but it is him, right? Who else? So far the barriers are holding. If he breaks them, he kills the kid, and he can't do that. Rules. So it buys us a little time while he worms his way in. I'm beginning to think we should have stuck to the last one. Hal's even dumber. Oh, Hal's even dumber than Sanford was. It takes some doing, but he is. Say, guys, do you think this nightmare monster's going to be a tougher battle than the skeleton men from Pluto? Do you? I am coming. I am coming through the barriers you have erected in this mind. I am coming through the way, be arduous and strange. Nothing will stop me. As I travel, I admire the craftsmanship of the construction of this maze, admire the traps and pitfalls they have wrought. You have learned well, my servants. To force the child to construct these barriers inside its head, in its effort to escape the physical world, to build an island of dream alone and untouched by the true dreaming. This takes skill. My admiration does not lessen my anger. I am coming. I am coming. Living in a dream house with a dream husband, and Lita loses her train of thought and commences absently to brush her hair. Is this what she wants? She always wanted to be with Hector, even when they were children, when she was a strong rich kid and he was a hero brat. But she must have wanted more than that, mustn't she? But Hector's dreams came first. They always did. Lita and Hector did so much together. They came out of the closet on the costume stuff together when they were at UCLA. When did she do that? Become a cheap copy of her vanished mother. It all seems like a dream, so hard to hold on to. Nothing's tangible anymore. These were the nightmare times, when she thought Hector was dead. Well, to be fair, he was dead, and she was pregnant with his child. But Brute and Glob had caught his soul in the dream dome, made him the Sandman, the protector of dreams. And after the wedding, she came to live in this house, and she was very happy. They were all very, very happy. Hi, babe. Just calling in to say that I'm off to fight the nightmare monster. Brute and Glob are going to eject me through the dream chute now. That's nice, dear. Have a good time. Well, there he goes. Bye bye, bozo. Now what? Festering scabs, pus and pox and puke on it all. We came so damn close. Just a few more years, it would have worked. No. No, it would never have worked, but it was fun to try. So, do we sit and watch our old boss pull the bozo's head off, or shall we find some place to lose ourselves and start the whole thing over again? Somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Dodge County, Georgia, Rose Walker. We'll never get this thing to start again, Gilbert. 'Twas you who chose to rent a wreck, Miss Walker, and you said you wouldn't mention that again. My apologies, Miss Walker. We might as well walk. It can't be too far to the motel. What was that, then? 10 miles? 15? Perhaps a mile and a half, Miss Walker. You're no fun, Gilbert. Anyway, with our luck, they'll all be booked up. Welcome. Cereal convention. Do you guys remember the cereal convention that was mentioned last week? Or, no, it's been more than a week now, because I don't remember exactly when I read this. It was the cereal convention that the Corinthian was talking about, who is one of the other nightmares. So, just a reminder in case you forgot. Well, I'm afraid we are kind of booked up, little lady. This convention, they've booked the whole place through the weekend. I mean, I got empty rooms since most of them don't get here till tomorrow morning, but look, we'll be on the first thing tomorrow. We'll be out first thing tomorrow. Promise. We won't get in the way of your cereal growers or eaters or whatever. Honest. You're both on the third floor, 311 and 312. I really shouldn't be doing this. I know, and I can't thank you enough, neither can Cousin Gilbert. Cousin Gilbert. Come on, Gilbert, lighten up. So what do you think cereal fans are into, huh? Maybe they collect those little plastic figurines and the old Captain Crunch whistles. Atlanta, Georgia. The Corinthian. Hey, you in the shades. Word on the street is you're looking for a little rough trade and easy action. Is that so? Could be. Don't jerk us around, guy. Me and Dougie here, we might be interested in a threesome. If the price was right. I have money. That is such good news, man. Good news for us, anyway. Take 'em, Dougie. Ah, Jesus. Asshole, I'm gonna rip out your eyes for that. Oof. My fingers, man. Oh God, oh God. His eyes. Joe Bob. Joe Bob. Did people have names like Joe Bob? That's interesting. His eyes. Holy shit, Dougie. He bit off my fingers with his eyes. Now, gentlemen, you've had your fun. I think it's time for me to have mine. Nice knife. Easy action. Come on, you dumb nightmare monster. It's defeating the forces of darkness time. I see my little servants have a servant of their own. Little ghost, get out of my way. There's something happening. There's something happening in my head. I'm sorry, I won't run away anymore. I'm sorry, I'll let you do anything you want to me. I'll even smile. There's something happening in my head. Please let me out, please. Ah, I'm scared. There's something happening in my head and I'm frightened. Hello. Brute? Glob? Hector? What's happening? Is something happening? Hell, no. Heaven? Don't make me laugh. Okay, I got it. We get out of the dreaming while he's busy with that bozo. Cut up Barnaby and Clarice, scoop out their insides, and hide in their skins. He'd never think to look for us there. He would. Yeah, he would. Hold, foul nightmare creature, or I will disperse your fabric with my ultrasonic whistle. You try my patience, little ghost. Where are your manners? That didn't faze you, huh? Well, let's see how you react to this carriage of dream sand. I can feel them, hiding in that place. Get out of my way. Monster, you shall never get past me. And who are you? I am the Sandman, guardian of the dreams of men, protector against the wicked nightmares, lord of the Dream Dome, and friend to children everywhere. You are what? Her. Her. Is he laughing? Or. I can't tell if that's supposed to be a laugh. You. You are the Sandman? Is that what they told you, little ghost? Ha! Ha 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 ha. Oh, humanity, I love you. You never cease to amaze me. This has been amusing, little ghost, and that was not something I expected. But every playtime must come to an end. This dream is over. Clary? You hear that sound? You hear that, hun? Sounds like it's coming from the basement. If it's that little scum sucker, when I'm through with him, he's gonna wish his ma had had an abortion instead of him. I tell ya. Ooh, he just explodes through the door. Brute. Glob. Hello. I presume that this peculiar charade has some kind of purpose. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Well, I am waiting for your explanation. Well, you were way out of the picture, Lord. So we thought, hell, you'd obviously be away for perhaps a real long time. So we could maybe make our own realm, or our own Dream King, one we'd be running. We hid in the kid's dreams and walled it off from the rest of the dreaming. Then we began to make a Sandman. First mortal we used, Garrett Sanford. He cracked up, killed himself, couldn't take the strain. We thought, okay, next time we get someone who's dead to start with. So we hooked the bozo, told him he was the new Sandman, and he brought his wife along. But then you played your get out of jail free card kinda earlier than we expected, and well, here we are. What happens now? I will clean up the mess you have created. As for you two, I doubt that either of you will enjoy the next few thousand years very much. Everything seemed very distant and far away, like perhaps it happened to someone else. This can't be real. Not this dank cellar, acrid toilet, smell on the stale air. Maybe she's dreaming. No, not the darkness. Please, Lord. It was all in fun. We meant nothing by it. Please, not the darkness. There, that takes care of them for now. Little ghost, do you have a name? Sure, fella. I'm Hector Hall, and this is my wife, Lita. Short for Hippolyta. I don't know what this is about, but it is unseemly for the dead to walk the earth, Hector Hall. You belong with the dead, little ghost. You go to the place appointed to you. Huh? Now listen, Buster. Lita, I love you. No, I skipped a line. Lita, no, stop him, for God's sake. I love you. Hector? You killed him, you monster. No. He died a long time ago. I would suggest that you count yourself lucky for having had 2 extra years with him post-mortem instead of abusing me. You killed him, if you wish. I will forgive you that. Your grief has affected your judgment, but I should point out that there is an unborn child within you who might have been damaged. I would not want to see the child hurt. Lita feels the muck beneath her skin, and she knows this is no dream. The other life, the house, the husband, that was the dream. So, what are you going to do to me? Nothing. Nothing. You killed Hector. You destroyed our home. You ruined my life. You call that nothing. Exactly nothing. You are free to go. Build yourself a new life, Hippolyta Hall. Oh, I almost forgot. The child. The child you have carried so long in dreams. That child is mine. Take good care of it. One day I will come for it. But you can't, my baby. I have a prior engagement. I am afraid. I can discuss this no further. I will see you again, Hippolyta. Until then, farewell. You take my child over my dead body, you spooky bastard, over my dead body. Yo, kid, which way you headin'? Anywhere. I don't know a way. Well, climb in. That's where I'm going. What's your name, kiddo? Jed. Why are you wearing those things? It's so dark. Can you see okay? Sure, I can see, Jed. I can see everything. I can see just fine. Next, the prior engagement. All right, that was issue number 12. I hope you guys enjoyed. What did you guys think of the chapter? I noticed a lot of differences in this issue to like the story in the show. So it's been interesting to see like what changes there are, like what the show made as well. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how this all plays out because there are definitely some characters that were just like treated slightly differently, including like the nightmare that was in here, like Brute and Glob was a little bit different, like the dreams and stuff. Like these things were slightly different in the show, so it was pretty interesting. Yeah. And also at the very end, obviously, Jed has now been grabbed by the Corinthian, which is intriguing. I wonder what that's going to cause moving forward. I mean, the Corinthian's going to the serial convention, so we'll have to see what happens next. You liked how he said bozo? Yeah, that was pretty funny. That is a very common word that I've heard from several of you before, so it was interesting to actually read it here. Thank you for pointing that out. But yeah, we can keep going. So now we have issue number 13. Just refill some water. Oh, funnily enough, it looks like we are not going directly into the next issue of this arc. We're actually taking a slight detour. Okay. That's intriguing. I didn't think they would do this in the middle of the arc. I assumed this story would be after. But, okay. This issue is called Men of Good Fortune. I do wonder if this is like release order or they just decided to put this here because it's like completely separate from the arc that we're reading. It's like a one shot. But yeah, this one, hopefully this is the next issue that you guys see as well. This is what it looks like. It's like a bunch of skeletons. Let me know if that's actually what you see. I do hope so, because I know the previous issue just said next a prior engagement. So if that's not what you see next, we might just skip this and come back to it. But let me know in the chat right now if that is what you guys see next. Let's see if there's the title for this. Doesn't really say the title in the issue after that. Okay. But since I haven't heard... Okay, that's it? Okay, wonderful. Alrighty, let's get into it. Men of Good Fortune. Third poll tax in 3 years. What else could we have done? All I'm saying is when Ball and Tyler were killed. The spirit of the working man died with them. Penny ale and cold bacon. Penny ale and cold bacon. I would have good hot meat and French wine. War plague and two bloody popes fighting like weasels in the heat, and the end of the world is soon, you mark me. Murder nor rape. We need to return need a return to law and to order. The king should act against these bandits. Let me switch arms. I was getting tired from holding this book up. All right. Very well. But I still do not see what... oh, wait. I need to speak slower because this is Morpheus. Very well. But I still do not see what purpose this will serve. Well, at least I get out and meet them. I just think maybe it would be good for you to see them on their terms instead of yours. Oh, really? It says men of good fortune in yours? That's interesting. Mine just says the prior engagement. I think that's... maybe they changed it specifically for the volume that I have, just so they know like which issue continues the story. That's my guess. Look. I've seen death. I lost half my village to the Black Death. I fought under Buckingham in Burgundy? Okay. And you know what a pig's ear that was. It's not like I don't know what death is. A penny of ale for me, and another for my brother, and it please you. Certainly, lady. Geoffrey, I see no great wrong in writing in the Langue des Travelistes rather than La Belle Francaise, but English has its own forms of verse. Piers Plowman, that's what people want, not filthy tales and rhyme about pilgrims. Wow, Murray, you missed an issue here. What's going on, man? How could you be so late? Disappointed. But I hope you're doing well. But I enjoy rhyming. It's much easier to read this way. I enjoy rhyming, Edmund, and I enjoy tavern tales tavern tales told of an evening. Up her dress, and she says, "Are you hunting for rabbits again, friar?" "You're a fool, Hob. Death comes to every man 30 years if he escape the plague, or the flux, or the French, 60 years with fortune, and if God is willing. Then they put you in the ground, and wait the day of judgment." There you go. Proves my point. All I'm saying is this. Nobody has to die. The only reason people die is because everyone dies. You all just go along with it. It's rubbish, death. It's stupid. I don't want nothing to do with it. A delegation of fairy came to me last night. They are talking about abandoning this plane forever. Shh! Listen to the people. I mean, what's it good for, eh? Think about it. I made my mind up ass deep in Burgundy mud, hobgaddling. I told myself, every man and woman dies, they say, except the wandering Jews, Ahasuerus, who denied our Lord. Yeah, fair enough. Everyone dies, I thought, except for maybe the wandering Jew. But why the hell should I? I might get lucky. There's always a first time. Forg, Gorg. Okay. No, it's rubbish. Death is, there's so much to do. So many things to see. People to drink with. Women to swive? Swive? What is swive? Okay. You lot may die. I expect you will, 'cause you're stupid. Not me, though. It might be interesting. Very well. Are you going to tell him, or am I? I shall. Very well, little brother. Geoffrey, for a diplomat, tu jages mal la nature humane. Is this supposed to be French? I'm butchering it. I know that. Very well. The English were born to hunt spittard and stag. If they take that away from us, 'twill be John Ball has rungen your bell once more. I don't know. I don't understand these phrases. Did I hear you say you have no intention of ever dying? Yeah. That's right. It's a mug's game. I won't have any part of it. Then you must tell me what it's like. Let us meet here again, Robert Gatling, in this tavern of the White Horse in 100 years. Oh, he's got you there, Hob Gatling. A sting, a touch. Your game is called, Hob. Ha ha ha. 100 years, yes, and I'm Pope Urban, and I'm Pope Clement. Oh ho ho. I shall split my sides of laughter. Don't mind them. They're thick as King Dick. A lot of them, 100 years' time on this day. I will see you in the year of our Lord 1489 then. Who was that then? Hobbsy. Haven't a clue, but I'll tell you what, Crispin, I'll ask him the next time I see him in 100 years' time. Oh, ha ha! Don't. I can't laugh no more. You kill me. How'd you know? Who are you? A wizard? A saint? A demon? Have I unwitting made a bargain with the devil? No. I'm merely interested. Then why aren't I dead? Long since. Is this some sort of game? You have not died, I see. Ha! No. I'd say the same about you. Only you're so pale that I could be wrong. Yes, you could. I came because I am interested. Death will not touch you, Hobgadling, unless you truly desire it. This is an interesting story. I hope you guys enjoy this one because I really like this specific story between these two characters. All right. Yeah, like I said, it's just people going along with it. I tell you though, it's all changing. In what way? Hear that? Now we have Chimbley. Chimblies? Is that supposed to say chimneys? They complain of reumes. Wait, what? Why am I missing letters or altered letters? That's weird. I guess fumes, catars. They sneeze and groan. When they had honest braziers, our heads did never ache. The smoke was good hardening for the timbers of the houses, and good medicine for the man and his family. Old idiot. I'll tell you, chimneys is brilliant. Not having your eyes water all the time, not freezing from the holes in the wall, and little cloth pieces for your nose. In the old day, we just used our sleeves. See, the bunch in the corner playing at trump and rough. We never had them in the old days, playing cards. Most impressive. What will you people come up with next? Something to get rid of fleas with any luck. So, what have you been doing for the last 100 years? Same trade as before, soldiering mainly, a little banditry here and there. If I couldn't find what you'd exactly call a war. I was pleased with the fighting come to England, saves going all the way to France. Sometimes I've fought for York, sometimes for Lancaster. It's been quite a few years now since Raymond got in. King Henry as is, but it'll start up again soon, you see. And in the meantime, I've started a trade. Work with a friend of mine. It won't last. But it's a new trade. It's called printing. Don't need to be a guild member, not yet. Never be a real demand for it, mind you. Hard work. But beats the hell out of rotting to maggots in the end, eh? So, you still want to live? Oh, yes. 100 years then. Oh, yes. Okay. And another 100 years have passed. Well, Kit, your theme as I saw, it is this. That for one's art and for one's dreams, one may consort and bargain with the darkest powers. 'Tis so. My friend, sit down. I've got in a couple of bottles of wine for us, already made a start on them. Hello, Hob. Hob? Faith, that takes me back a few years. It's Sir Robert Gatling now, old stranger. You have had good fortune, I take it. Good fortune. The gods have smiled on me, as they smile on all England, where no man is slave or bondsman. Venison? Pasty? Pasty? Pasty. Okay. No, they're good. Let's see. Last time we spoke, I was working with Billy Caxton. I made some gold from that, put it to work in Henry Tudor's shipyards. I made a small pile. I've still got shipping interests. Went north for a year or so, came back as my son. I've done that twice now. Girl, more wine. When Fat Henry done for the monasteries, I brought my estates, and a healthy gift of gold to the crown saw to a knighthood. It's so damn rich. And that's not all. Here, take a look at this, my fair Eleanor and little Robin. My first son born in over 200 years on this earth. Well, that I have known of. That I have known of, anyway. And the queen herself slept at my house last summer. That was expensive. It's funny. This is what I always dreamed heaven would be like, way back. It's safe to walk the streets, enough food and good wine. I'll stick with boys, my horned actress, more wine, more ale, and bus me quick, my sweet. Life so rich. Sweet kid, the play I gave you, did you read it? I must confess I have. I thought that, well, you act well, Will, but listen, let me read. Hung be the heavens with the black, yield day to night, comets importing change of times and states, brandish your crystal tresses in the sky, and with them scourge the bad revolting stars. At least it scans, but bad revolting scars? It's my first play. It should be your last. God's wounds. If only I could write like you. In Faustus, where you wrote, O God, he loves thee not, and God thou servest as thine own appetite, wherein is fixed the love of Beelzebub. To him I'll build an altar and a church, and often lukewarm blood of newborn babes. It chills my bones, and so it should, good Will. I will give anything to have your gifts, or more than anything, to give men dreams that would live as long as I am dead, long after I am dead. I'd bargain like your Faustus, for that boon. Who is he? Axabit wrote a play. Is he good? No, he's crap. Now, that crap there with the broken leg next to him, bent as a pewter duck, he's a good playwright. Hmm. Are you Will Shaxford? Aye, sir, have we met? We have, but men forget in waking hours. I heard your talk, Will. Would you write great plays, create new dreams to spur the minds of men? Is that what you want, Will? Is that your will? Let us talk. White bread. I would have killed for white bread 200 years back. Come to think of it, I did a couple times. Everything to live for and nowhere to go but up. Hmm. Do not be so free in assigning plagues, fires, or floods to the judgment of the Lord of our sins. Make more of their poor dole than they would for honest work. I tell you, sir, men without jobs seldom drink other than the strongest ale house beer, or eat any bread save that made with the finest wheat flour. Sir, can I help you? No, thank you. I am waiting for someone. You're fucking dungwits. Get out of my way. Get away, you fuddled jug biter. This tavern's for gentry and decent folk. You get back to the stews with the rest of the filth. Ugh, let him be. He is my guest. Ha! I knew you'd be here. Do you know how hungry a man can get if he doesn't die but doesn't eat? She died in childbirth, Eleanor. I don't remember what she looked like anymore. I pawned her portrait 50 years since. Robin died in a tavern brawl when he was 20. I didn't go out much after that. They tried to drown me as a witch. I'd lived there 40 years, overconfident. I got out with my skin, a little more, and then it got worse and worse and worse. I fought for the king in Parliament's war. Big mistake that was. I got careless. I got soft, like the country. I hated every second of the last 80 years. Every bloody second. You know that? And you still want to live? Do you not seek the respite of death? Are you crazy? Death's a mug's game. I've got so much to live for. It's a living. Funny thing is, I sort of started it all. I mean, it was me that funded Jack Hawkins, what, 200 years ago? You take pride in your treating of fellow humans as less than animals? Like I said, it's a living. I heard something funny the other week. Bloke said to me, he said, if only the French nobles had played cricket with their men the way we do, they'd never have had this trouble. First the colonies, now France. You ask me, this country'll be the next for a revolution. I'll be salting money away all over the world. Odds life. First sign of trouble, it'll be out of here like that. I'll be out of here like that. Wonderful system, really. We take English cotton goods to Africa, get a cargo of Negroes, pack 'em in like sardines. Same boat takes 'em across the Atlantic, comes back with raw cotton, tobacco, and sugar. Your spirits seem much improved since our last encounter. I suppose they have. I saw King Lear yesterday. Miss Sidona's as Goneril. The idiots had given it a happy ending. that will not last. The great stories will always return to their original forms. That lad, Will Shakespeare, you did some kind of deal with him, didn't you? Perhaps. What kind of deal? His soul? Nothing so crude. La, I might ask both of you the same question, gentlemen. Please do not trouble yourselves to rise. 400 years now, I've been meeting you. Oh, wait, I skipped a panel. 400 years now, I've been meeting you here, and there's so much I still don't know. Who are you truly? What manner of man are you? What's your name? La. I might ask you both the same question, gentlemen. Please, do not trouble yourself to rise. These are Michael and Tobias, smugglers by trade, though, with an eye on their fortunes, they're only too glad to augment their earnings by slitting throats for hire. If you move, they'll slit yours. I do not believe I've had the honor of your acquaintance, madame. You don't talk till milady says as such. Whoreson. Nay, let them talk, good Toby. They tell a tale in these parts of London where the devil and the wandering Jew meet, once every century, in a tavern. 2 years past, sewn in the shirt of a deadsman, I found me a nice description of their last meeting. This inn was named, likewise, this day. For 2 years, sir, I've planned our present rendezvous. Well, have you nothing to say? I am no devil, and I'm not Jewish. Pho, what kind of creatures are you then? Who wants to know? I am Lady Joanna Constantine. I knew a Jack Constantine once, cunning man, got himself killed before you were born, long time ago now. You will follow me, sirs. My coach waits without. I see there is much you can both tell me, so much I can learn. No, I think not. No, not thou. Thou'st gone. Oh, 'twas not my intent. Heaven be my witness. Ah, I durst not look at thee. What did you do to her? She has old ghosts that I've shown to her. Her kind walk amidst the flotsam of lives they have sacrificed for their own purposes, tell friendliness and alone they needs must make the final sacrifice. Yeah, Jack was like that too. Died in a churchyard in Essex. Nasty business. It was with him, but the night walkers let me be, though they left precious little of him. I had nightmares about that night for 10 years. They also come to me for knowledge in Queen Bess's day, but he was a great deal more civil about asking for it. Bought me a drink first for a start. Robert Gatling, yes. It is a poor thing to enslave another. I would suggest you find yourself a different line of business. Eek. Oh, this is the next time frame. Oh, you gave me a start, sir. For a second I thought you was Bloody Jack himself. No. Oh, I know that, sir. Just joshing you. So, how'd you like to buy a gal a drink of pale? Then maybe a quick bum dance. Okay, great description. This is even more crude. Wonderful. Give us a ride with your cream stick. Okay. I can't say that with a straight face. I think not. Pasty-faced pussy cove? What? Pussy cove? Bet you ain't got it in ya anyway, you skinny chicklery? Merp. At first, I met a cornet. Was in a regiment of dragons. I gave him what he didn't like and stole his silver spoons. Hello, mister, but a lady, a drain, a pail. Okay. That was interesting. I see you had a run-in with Lushing Lao. In here they call her the hospital. Really? Why? Because she's in him at a great deal, and because she's sent so many men to him. Rotten thing, the pox. I see. This area really gone downhill the last 100 years. I started coming here a month or so back. Don't want a repeat of last time's mess, do we? I saw her again, you know. Lady Joanna? Indeed. She undertook to fulfill a task for me, and succeeded admirably, I might add. Hmm, I've noticed. I'm not the only one who doesn't die. There's a bloke who calls himself Blood. I've met him a half dozen times now, although he doesn't always remember me. And there's Mad Hetty, down on Old Compton Street. Been there 120 years at least, to my knowledge. Mad as a coot, but she isn't going to die. Death's a capricious thing, innit? Yes. Yes, she is. You know, I think I know why we meet here, century after century. It's not because you want to see what happens to a man when a man don't die. You've seen what happens. I doubt I'm any wiser than I was 500 years ago. I'm older. I've been up and been down and been up again. Have I learned aught? I've learned from my mistakes, but I've had more time to commit more mistakes. You are right about the slave trade. I can never make restitution for that, but listen, I've seen people, and they don't change. Not in the important things. I doubt I'll ever seek death. You've observed all that, but you knew it from the start. I think you're here for something else. And what might that be? Friendship. I think you're lonely. You dare. You dare imply that I might befriend a mortal, that one of my kind might need companionship. You dare call me lonely. Yes, yes, I do. Tell you what, I'll be here in 100 years' time. If you're here then too, it'll be because we're friends. No, no other reason, right? Right? And 100 years later, Thatcher's bloody poll tax. There is going to be a revolution if they try to push it through. I see it. The labor movement died with the miners' strike. All the signs are there in the Bible. It'll be the end of the world very soon. No respect for law and order. Of course, AIDS isn't God's way of punishing people, Darren. Don't be a pillock. Upper dress, and she says, "Are you hunting for rabbits again, Vicar?" Made more on the dole than they would from an honest day's work. I I wasn't sure you'd be coming. Really? I've always heard it's impolite to keep one's friends waiting. Would you like a drink? Did you guys like that story? I really enjoy this story between these two. I'd say it's probably my favorite of the one shots that we've read so far. I think there might be one other or two other one shots that I know about, but I assume that they only come about after this arc. But yeah, I really enjoyed that reading. I really enjoyed this story specifically because I just find it entertaining. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys thought about that. I know it was kind of a break from the story that we were actually reading, but I think it was a fun story. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed, Alex. But yeah, we can jump into the next issue. think this is probably going to be the last one that I read. I don't know if this is the last issue or if there's a couple more. There might be a couple more. Since I already know this story, let me just jump ahead and check. Is this all one? Yeah, it looks like this is all one issue. Okay. Alright, so this isn't going to be the end of the story, but do I want to read this? Like I said, it is tiring to read for this much. But I did say 12 to 14, so you know what? I'll try to read this one, and then I think this is going to be the last one for tonight as well. Alrighty, let's jump into it. Just drink some water. And let's begin. It seems like the late autumn wind blew them in that night, spinning and dizzying from the four corners of the world. It was a bitch wind, knife sharp and cutting, and it blew bad and cold. And they came with it, scurrying and skittering like yellow leaves and old newspapers, from 1,000 places and from nowhere at all. She has eyes that men adore so, and a torso even more so. They came in their suits and their t-shirts, carrying rucksacks and briefcases and suitcases and plastic bags, muttering and humming and silent as the night. It seemed like the bitter fall wind brought them there. Perhaps it did. On arrival, they eye each other warily, strike up cautious conversations. Some are already acquainted, and they form instant knots and whirls in the bar and the lobby, waiting to check in, or for the restaurant to open. Man, I've been traveling for 5 days now. The journey was a real killer, believe me. Hate these little hick towns. Wouldn't be seen dead here if it wasn't for the convention. That's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Tell you, I could murder a steak, a good bloody steak. So, that was when Harry killed the lights, and I could have died. They do this chocolate fudge whip that is just to die for. Has anyone seen The Family Man? The devil? Would that be the Kentucky Devil or the Oregon Devil? I got both here. Yeah, he slays me. You heard him do the I am John Codanger routine? Excuse me? Can you all get your badges and registration packs from the registration table in the Scarlett O'Hara room? Well, hell, I thought the whole issue was dead and buried in the 60s. Knots become groups and clusters, attracting new members. The TV butchered it, but I hear you can get an uncut on video in Canada. Don't forget to check in once you've registered. And, has anyone seen The Family Man? I need to speak to the manager. That's me, Bub. We talked on the phone. I am Mr. Nimrod, the convention organizer. I just wanted to check that everything was going according to plan. Okay, well, the convention hall is set up. I'll need to check with you about the banquet. The kitchen will need exact numbers. One problem. We agreed that you would have the entire hotel for your convention. Well, I'm afraid we still have 2 guests here. They were meant to leave this morning. She was on her way to visit her brother, telephoned ahead this morning, and the police answered. The police? Something had happened to her people, and the police requested that she stayed where she was in case they need her. The sheriff spoke to me, and I explained about the convention, but he said they stay on here. I don't want trouble with the law, Bub. I see. Please ensure that they stay out of the convention areas, then. I did already. They've said that they'd keep themselves in their room. In a perfect world, Rose Walker would be sitting in a car with her brother Jed next to her. Gilbert would be in the back. Perfect world. They'd been driving back to the room Rose rented, then she and Jed would fly back to Boston. Jed, Rose, Mom together. She hasn't seen Jed for 7 years. She was 14. He was 5. Perfect. She had wondered if they'd recognize each other. She was so proud of herself for tracking him down. One phone call. That's all it took for it to come tumbling down. She phoned ahead, let them know she was coming. The police answered. Perfect. It would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. Perfect. Knock, knock. Gilbert. Hmm? This is going to drive me nuts. You know that? Would you like me to tell you a story? No, if I hear another one of your theological paradoxes, I'll scream. Frankly, today I don't care if God exists or not. I doubt he feels likewise, Miss Walker. Gilbert, I'm not interested. I just keep thinking about Jed, and about young Uncle Barnaby and Aunt Clarissa being killed. The sheriff said that they'd been keeping Jed in the basement, like an animal. How can people do that to people? How can people treat other people like that? If you want to tell me a story, tell me an old one, a fairy one. Hmm. Do you know the story of Little Red Riding Hood? Sure. The Red Hood was an invention of Charles Perrault, who tidied up the folk tales of France for popular consumptions in the 18th century. Other changes, such as the happy ending, are later additions. I will tell you an original version. A little girl was told to bring bread and milk to her grandmother. As she was walking through the woods, a wolf came up to her and asked her where she was going. To grandmother's house. The wolf ran off and arrived first at the house. He killed the grandmother, poured her blood into a bottle, and sliced her flesh onto a plate. Then he got into her nightclothes, and waited in bed. Knock, knock. Come in, my dear. I've brought you some bread and milk, grandmother. Have something yourself, my darling. There is meat and wine in the pantry. The girl ate what was offered, okay? And as she did, the little cat said, Slut, to eat the flesh and drink the blood of your grandmother. Then the wolf said, Undress and get into bed with me. What? This is the original Red Riding Hood story? What? I do wonder if he made this up, or if this is actually the oldest version, or one of the oldest versions of the Red Riding Hood story. That's nothing like I've ever heard. Then the wolf okay, I read that. Where shall I put my skirt? Throw it into the fire. You won't need it anymore. And for each garment, petticoat, bodice, and stockings, the girl asked the same question, and the wolf replied, Throw it into the fire. You won't need it anymore. When the girl got into bed, she said, Grandmother, how hairy you are. It keeps me warmer, my dear. Oh, grandmother, what long nails you have. They are for scratching myself, my dear. Oh, grandmother, what big teeth you have. They are for eating you, my dear. And he ate her. Gilbert, that's horrible. I'm afraid so. Yeah, it is pretty horrible. There are earlier versions that are even worse. Listen to the wind. It brings bad things, Rose Walker. I think it would be best if we keep to our rooms. How are we doing? Fun? Funland. Not fun. Funland. Sorry, Funland, right? It's okay, Mr. Nimrod. Beg pardon. 80 people have registered so far. Pretty good turnout, eh? Yeah, no sign of the family man. Hasn't checked in here yet. Maybe he's not coming. He can't not come. He's our guest of honor. He has to come. I got a letter from our British agent saying he'd come. I even sent the air tickets. Well, he's not here. Moon River? But he seemed kind of shy. And the Candyman, the one from Connecticut, the guy with the candy canes, the lip collector, he's here. Heck. Have we got any other big names so far? We have to have a guest of honor. Excuse me, is this where I register? Sure is, friend. What name will you be listed under? The Corinthian. Oh, wow, mister. Mr. Nimrod said you'd be coming, but, wow, I thought you'd be older. Here's your stuff, Mr. Corinthian. Wear your badge at all times. You won't be permitted into the convention on areas without it. We're all big fans of yours. Do you think I could have your autograph? Excuse me? Yes? I'm Nimrod, the organizer. We talked on the phone a few days back. I have a favor to ask. You see, you're something of a legend among the collectors. He didn't think there would be so many of them. Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord, who has certainly by now shown everybody that he's not afraid of anything, certainly not blood, definitely not women, he's scared. Stage fright. Pull yourself together, he tells himself. Don't go to pieces now. You're the chairman of the convention committee. You're a successful orthodontist. You have a shack out in Vermont that no one knows about, and with 4 full chest freezers. And isn't it time to buy a 5th? And hello, the joke. Tell them a joke. I heard a story recently I thought might amuse you. It seems that the telephone rang in the police station. The duty cop answers, and the woman's voice says, "Help, I'm being raped." She says, "Don't you mean or reaped, rather." He says, "Don't you mean raped?" "No," she says, "he used a scythe." Laugh, you bastards, laugh at my joke. Laugh or I'll ha ha ha. It's really good to see so many of us here. So many. This is the first of these cons, and if you want to see another, a few rules we have to adhere to. Firstly, use your preferred sobriquet. No civilian names? Sobriquet? I don't know how to say that. That also sounds French. I have no idea. Secondly, we don't shit where we eat. You all know that, particularly now and here, when so many of us would be at risk. Nobody does any collecting until the convention's over and you're at least 100 miles away. Thirdly, on a more unfortunate note, the family man has not been able to make it. He's an old man, but every cloud has a silver lining. I'd like to present our new guest of honor, a legend in his own lifetime, an inspiration to us all. I know to me personally, one of the first, one of the best. They call him the Eye Guy, the Dark Angel, the Shades, and maybe 1,000 other names, but we've always known it was one man. Gentlemen, ladies, our guest of honor, the Corinthian. You know what's so great about something like this? No. We're all so different, united by our common interests. That's great. Saturday. What are you looking at? The film program. They're showing The Collector, a remarkable novel. When I first read that book, I thought, for the first time, I am understood. Excuse me, but I've seen you before, haven't I? You're that doctor. Wow. To think that you're a collector. Wow. Huh, thank you. You are? I'm the boogeyman. I've heard of you. The newspaper in their fickle or facile way have christened me Flay by Night 79. Sorry? Given me a number. That's your line, isn't it? 79? Oh yeah, right. She was, like, She had these beautiful eyes like patches of sky early in the morning, and she screamed like an angel. Say, you ever read a magazine called Chaste? It's really terrific. I've heard of it. The doctor has treated presidents. He's pioneered radical operations, some with startling success. He's saved many lives. He collects leather neckties. They wrote about it in the New York Times. He wears a new one at every media event he attends. He has over 100, and he makes them himself. That's not terrifying at all. Can I have your autograph? No, of course not. Don't be foolish. I think I shall attend a panel discussion. I mean, I have to stay hydrated, man. I get really like my mouth gets dry, obviously, after talking for this long. So otherwise, I'd just like start coughing. The panel's called "Make It Pay." Looks interesting. Thank you. Dog soup. Dog soup is a woman? Jesus. Even 10 G's per victim identified isn't too much to ask. And the thing to remember is that they'll pay to know for certain. Even if the cops don't go with it, the families will, like the dude in Canada, the choir boy. Surely, what the choir boy is describing is a worst case scenario. Once they've caught you alive and you don't get the money, remember that. But carry on. We don't do it for the money. Look, Gil, what if someone phones while we're out? What if there's news? If there is news, it will wait, Miss Walker. You need fresh air. We both do. A walk will do us good. Of course, I never met the boogeyman, but I'm perfectly certain the young man claiming his identity is not he. The boogeyman is dead, Doctor. He drowned in Louisiana 3 years ago. How do you know? I know. We need to deal with this immediately. I suggest you talk to Nimrod about it. Hey, some of these cereal nuts are kinda cute. Gilbert, you okay? Look, why won't you tell me? What's to be afraid of? Things, memories, people, dreams. I do not know, or at least I cannot say. Forgive me, Miss Walker. One moment. I have written a name on this paper, Rose. Read it to yourself. Do not say it out loud. If if things get bad, call the name Rose Walker. Call him, and may God have mercy on us all. I am a merciful God who has and a just God. For I release this is really funny. For I release men and women and children from the suffering and torment of their lives. I give them a new life in my heaven. As a born again Christian, I want to disassociate myself from this man. I do the bidding of the Lord. I wash their robes and make them white in the blood of the Lamb. With my hammer, with my love. Boogeyman, can we talk in your hotel room? Well, I'm watching the religion panel, man. But, sure. God. God tells me to do it. Ow. Listen, you guys. Oh, God, listen. What is this? I'm the boogeyman. I really am. Give me a number, any number. Your name is Philip Sitz. You're the editor, writer, whatever, of Chaste magazine. Your number is up, Philip. You aren't one of us. No, no, I am. I understand it. Females are insects created for. Okay, alright. For. I hate saying these things. For male pleasure, strength, energy, lust, the willingness to sacrifice another's life for his own gratification. I understand it. That's why I had to get here. I had to see you all. To learn. Big mistake, Philip. Big mistake. We don't shit where we eat, Mr. Nimrod, except when we have to, Doctor. Needs must when the devil drives. Do you always drive like that? Sure. I was nervous. With him on my lap, we should have put him in the trunk. I have something in the trunk already. Oh, is that where he put Jed? He just put Jed in the trunk? Okay. You certainly know this area well, Corinthian. I made a previous visit a decade back. There are some hereabouts who still have nightmares about it. Good, you're awake. It would be boorish to inquire how you obtained the late boogeyman's invitation in our gathering. Let's talk about something else. You say you come to us to learn. Very well. We'll teach you. Teach you that it isn't the sex, isn't the power, isn't the cruelty. We are soldiers of darkness, Philip, gladiators, warriors, and gods, and we'll teach you. The good doctor likes to skin people alive. Nimrod is a hunter. He can bone, joint, and gut any animal in minutes. For myself, I have a penchant for eyes, and you know what we're going to do now, Philip? We're going to take turns. Okay. I don't really dance. I know my mom does ballroom dancing. My mom does ballroom dancing since she retired. Says it gets her out of the house. Not me though. I only go to discos when I'm hunting. Gosh, I wouldn't hunt in a place like that. I have this place. Pardon me. I can't tell anyone else where it is because, well, you'd all want to go there. It's a great place, like thousands of people, and there are always beautiful little children wandering off on their own, getting lost, always so pleased to see somebody friendly. And quiet places to take them to, even in the middle of the crowds, where no one will disturb you before you've finished. And what's great is the people who run the place always hush it up. They don't want anyone to know that I'm there either. They don't want people to stop going. They want everybody to be happy, just like me. It's a wonderful place, my secret special place. And the other thing I love, if you can't find any beautiful children to play with, you can always go on one of the rides. I'm sorry, ma'am. This is for the convention function. You can't go in. Oh heck, I figured that since it was only a disco, wouldn't nobody would mind if I came in and danced for a time. I couldn't sleep. Well, I'm sorry, miss. Sorry, but it's only for people at the convention, miss. I'm real sorry. It's not your fault. Well, thanks anyway. See you around. Moon River. How old would you say she was, that little girl? That beautiful girl. I don't know, 17, 18. Really? I think she looks younger, much younger. This is a fun monologue to be reading. I don't know if you'd noticed, but I'm like lifting this up so it's more clear that I'm reading something. So I'm just like, these are words coming out of my mouth that, yeah. Anyway, you catch any of the panel discussions? Only the religion panel. I don't believe in it. You don't believe in religion? I don't believe in God. The whole devil or man. I hate the whole damned human race, including myself. What's your score? Score? I got 171. Drowned most of them. You? 8. 8? That's chicken shit, man. 8? 8. As you said, you'll take anything, anyone, the whole damned human race. Me, I specialize. I'm a connoisseur. There's something about preoperative transsexuals that make the connoisseur uncomfortable. Okay then. Something brittle and bright in the back of their eyes. He loves them. but he always makes their laugh feels they're laughing at him. He's only ever found eight that he's been able to talk to, really talk to. So, what do you talk to him about? Business, the weather. Nothing important, just things, stuff. Uh, right. Hey, good looking, come and boogie. I love this song. Wild thing, you make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. That was enjoyable. Doing it together like that. Pity it had to end so soon, really. It'll be good to get back. I have to get some sleep before tomorrow morning. I'm looking forward to your guest of honor speech, Corinthian. What what have you got in the trunk that's so important then? Just a little something for later. Did you just say that I have to make a speech? Gilbert, good morning. I don't know about you, but I could murder a grapefruit. Come on, Gilbert, food. Gilbert? You know, breakfast. Gilbert? 10:30 a.m. Panel discussion. We are what we are. They say the fundamental act of humanity is not to kill. Bull, the fundamental act of humanity is to kill. They are sheep and cattle, but we know the truth. We're alive. 12:30 women in serial killing. I tell you, I'm sick and tired of of women in our line being stereotyped as black widows or killer nurses. I'm a serial killer and a woman, and I'm proud of that. Panel discussion. There is no sanity clause. Look, as a practicing psychiatrist, look, none of you, there's no more evidence of mental abnormality amongst us people than amongst them. Maybe less. Funland, guest of honor speech in 10 minutes. Yes, sir. So, what were you saying? How you got started? Pussies? When I was a kid, cutting their heads off with my pocket knife. Then, when I got older, I'm gonna say cats, didn't do it for me anymore. I used to get myself, I don't want to say these words. What the heck? I used to have some alone time. I'd resist the urge for weeks. Then it'd get too strong for me, and I'd go out and buy a skin mag in another city where no one knew me. I'd take it into a John, lock myself in there, and do it to myself until I couldn't do it no more. Then I'd hate myself. I'd rip up the magazines to shreds. Oh, I thought he was talking about like magazines for a gun. Okay. Interesting. And the urge would go away for a while. I couldn't get over it. All these women in the world and under their okay. Yeah, I get what the dude's saying. And then it got more violent. I'd fantasize stuff. I'd rehearse it in my mind, even in reality. I used to follow some women around with with a knife in my pocket and at a length of wire just to see how it felt. Then I did, the real thing. The urge built up and I couldn't handle it any other way. Man, I know it's not normal for a man to go out and dismember a woman because he wants to have sex with her. Emotionally, I didn't know how much longer I can handle it. But the urge builds up in me and I do it to them. And when I'm finished, the urge is satisfied and I rip them to shreds, like I did with the magazines, like I did with the cats. Alrighty. That's an interesting progression of life. This is a surprisingly longer issue. Or maybe it's just me. It might just be that I'm getting a little tired from reading. Alright. I don't know. I thought maybe if I came here, I'd meet other people with the same problem. People who I could talk to, who'd understand, who'd help me. But no one else has really been interested. Sometimes something's come up. Something I have to do. I'll see you around then. Yeah, fine. No problem. Boy, Rosie, you're a real screaming success on this one. Not only did you not find Jed, but you lost Gilbert en route. Pat yourself on the back. 3 cheers for Rose. And what on earth is this about? If things get bad, call the name. Gilbert, what is this? What are you? Where are you? I like the hydration comments. Hello. Room service. Got a message for you, ma'am. From your grandmother. From Unity? It's not really room service. It's me. You're going to play, little girl. We can make believe this is my special place. It's a small world after all. I love that song. It's so true, so true. Now, when we've finished, you mustn't tell anybody that I played with you, especially not Mr. Nimrod. He said that dirty stuff at the beginning about what we don't do where we eat. Wash his mouth with a soap, Mama. I love you, little girl. I love you, girl. I love you to death. You know, you can dress off, you can take off your dress, you know. You wouldn't need it anymore. Morpheus. I hope you didn't say something dirty. I don't like dirty girls. I call them. Okay. Let go of her, Nathan Diskin. Let go of her now. You you can't have her. She's my friend. We were playing. She's mine. Now dream. As for you, Rose Walker, heal. Heal and breathe. Then leave this building. I have another business here, and I would not see you further troubled. Ugh. And all his little friends came running. Hello, they say to the funny giant. Will you be our friend? Will you play with us? We promise never to make fun of you. Of course, I'll be your friend, he tells them. I'm sorry, he tells the children. I'm sorry I hurt you all. Do you forgive me? Of course we forgive you, they say. Now let's play some more. In the gardens, which are paradise. It is the most beautiful dream he has ever had. Rose doesn't know what's going on, doesn't understand what's happening, doesn't care. One thing penetrated, one thing she knows, she's getting out. You know, I don't usually speak in public, but the opportunity of talking to all of you is just too good to pass up, because you are special people, very special people. We are the American dreamers driving down the holy road to the true knowledge that's paved with blood and gold. And across the length and breadth of this fair country, we are killing people. We don't do it for a living. We don't do it for revenge. We don't kill people anonymously, poisoning their aspirin, putting shards of glass in baby food. We don't drive cars into crowded sidewalks. We don't carry guns on into burger joints and blast away until a SWAT team splatters our brain all over the French fries. We do not murder for a profit. We do not murder for governments or for hire. We kill to kill. We are entrepreneurs in an expanding field. As Morpheus sits down. We are gladiators. We are soldiers of fortune. We are swashbucklers and heroes and kings of the night. We are the triumph, and that's a triumph, our glory and our triumph and our glory. You disappoint me, Corinthian. You and these humans you've inspired and created disappoint me. You were my masterpiece, or so I thought. A nightmare created to be the darkness and the fear of darkness in every human's heart. A black mirror, made to reflect everything about itself that humanity will not confront. But look at you. 40 years walking on earth, honing yourself, infecting others with your joy of death. And what have you given them? What have you wrought, Corinthian? Nothing. Just something else for people to be scared of. That's all. You've told them that there are bad people out there, and they've known that all along. So what now? Do you expect me to submit quietly, to return to the dreaming, to scar their sleeping minds, never again to know the delights of the sweet boy's eyes as it pops between my teeth? Is that it? No, that's not it. Then, let us fight, Dream Lord. Put on your helm. Let me show you the arts of pain and war I have learned on earth. No, Corinthian. I shall not fight, and you shall not go back to the dreaming. It is my fault, I am afraid. I created you poorly then. And I do uncreate you now. No. As he melts down, all right? The next time I shall make you, you shall not be so flawed and petty, little dream. And you that call yourselves collectors, until now, you have all sustained fantasies in which you are the maltreated heroes of your own stories, confronting daydreams in which ultimately you are shown to be in the right. No more. For all of you, the dream is over. I have taken it away. For this is my judgment on you, that you shall know that at all times and forever exactly what you are, and you shall know just how little that means. Now leave. You, collect yourself, Miss Walker. It is only me, and this is your brother. I found him. He was locked in the boot of a car. I heard him sobbing. Is he dead? No, he's unconscious, but still alive. We urgently need to get him to the hospital. I don't know what happened here today, Gilbert. I don't think I want to know. Not yet. You called him, didn't you? I suppose we will both have to face the consequences of that. In the meantime, I think we should call an ambulance for the boy and make our way home. Gilbert, I'm so cold and so scared. So cold. The first wind of winter blew from the north, and it had ice and rime in its breath. It was dirty and sharp, and it cut like a razor, and if you touched it, you could wash and wash until your skin was tattered and bloodied, but you'd never be clean again. It scattered them into the night, the quiet ones with death in their eyes. But they left more tentatively than they had come, as if they had seen something unholy inside themselves, something they would never be able to forget. And they left, slowly, one by one, with reluctance, leaving the safety of the light for the chill certainties of the darkness. It seemed like the night sucked them up, took them into its dark heart. It seemed like the darkness swallowed them. Perhaps it did. All right. So that was chapter 4 or issue 14. I hope you guys enjoyed. That was faster than I thought it would be in terms of plot progression, but I very much enjoyed it. What did you guys think? Did you guys like that issue? And it's also the last one for today because I'm getting tired of talking. But I do think that there might just be one more issue left. Let me see. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure there's only one issue left. Yeah, I believe, the next issue is the last issue for this arc. So we'll have to wait a little bit for that because I won't be home for the next, week? Yeah, I won't be home next week, and the following Monday as well, I probably won't be around either. But yeah, I'm excited to end off for today, and next time is going to be kicked off with the final issue in this particular arc, and then I think there's maybe one or two more one shots after that. That would be my guess, because there isn't a lot left in the book. Like we're pretty close to the end here, right? I think more than a quarter of the way is left, or less than a quarter of the way is left. So we've read majority of it, and yeah, I'm excited to get to the next one next time. But in the meantime, I mean, I'll be home for a while, so I just won't be recording or live streaming or any of that while home, just because I don't want to do that off my laptop, and I probably won't even bring my laptop to begin with. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. It's probably gonna be like 2 weeks, so I think the next one's actually gonna be in December. Yeah, it's gonna be December 5th. If everything goes to plan and I like nothing changes about, right, it's probably just gonna be December when I stream again. So it's gonna be a nice little break for me, but also like I'll just be spending time with family, and probably seeing some of you. So yeah, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. It was pretty fun to get through. Pretty much, I think that was the climax, or pretty close to the climax of the story. So got one last issue in the story, and that'll be that. Also, after that, we could probably actually read or watch the actual show if you guys wanted to. Anyway, that's all for today. I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful night. Bye.